Now, if you open up the YouTube search panel and you type in AI sales automation, you're going to be met with a ton of n8n workflows that look incredibly complex. Are those workflows cool? I mean, yeah, 100%. Now, do they add tangible value to your business? Oftentimes, not entirely. Now, for the past 5 years, I've been working and consulting with a bunch of agencies, helping them leverage these systems tangibly into their internal processes. Now, in today's video, I'm just going to pull back the curtains and share with you exactly some of the tools that I've been building and how they are driving results and allowing these businesses to actually improve their lead flow. So let's get into it. Now, before I dive into the automation, I pretty much want to do some background in terms of why we're doing this. I know it's very, very easy to get lost in the technicalities, but I think it's so important as business owners to actually know why we're doing what we're doing, which will only help how we actually build the automation down the line in the future. And for you, as I mentioned, this will be given. I will give you this template. Us doing this kind of research now will kind of help you understand what you should go and change in the template that I give you. So why does everybody want these automations in the first place? Well, traditional B2B sales or sales in general is very, very manual, right? Oftentimes you spend a bunch of time trying to do lead research and find out who's a good lead to reach out to. Now, thanks to AI, where it's really, really easy for us now to do research at scale. It's a lot easier. But this introduces another problem. Everybody's becoming lazy, incredibly lazy, and they just expect AI to read their minds. You know, people just say, look at this profile and tell me if they're a good lead. But what even is a good lead, right? Like, you wouldn't just tell a virtual assistant to go and get a good lead for you. You would break it down into real, like, instructions, just what is a good lead to you, right? But people don't do that with AI. They just give AI, thinking AI is this all-knowing, all-powerful thing, but you need to tell it exactly what you're looking for in order for it to give you what it is that you want, right? And again, if you automate crap, you're going to get crap, ultimately. So, and it's quite frankly why I tell people to peel back first and do things manually. And when you do things manually, you can map out every single step that it takes for you to do what you're trying to do. So maybe you know that, like, first, you always, like, check the site, right? And then maybe if I copy this over here and I duplicate it, then you know, second, you always check their LinkedIn, right? And then maybe you know, third, you always, like, I could say check, like, the decision makers and the past companies they worked at. For example, whatever it is that you sell, when you're able to map out, like, manually what it takes for you to get whether someone's a good fit or a bad fit, then you can pass that into the AI, which is why I think it's so important to do these things manually to even know what it is we're trying to automate in the first place, right? Now, all of this stuff has just led to the past 2 years, everyone is just sending a bunch of noise, and noise is just being thrown from one inbox to another inbox. Like, hey, XYZ, something very, very generic, but it's clearly AI written, and it's not going to get you anywhere, which is why a lot of these automations we're seeing, they're not really adding value because they're not specific. They're not, they haven't really taken proven manual steps and automated it. They're just automations. But hey, in order to automate something, you need to know how it works manually, which is why I think it's really, really important that you take the time to actually know what it is that you want to automate first. Now, a powerful combination, when you're able to effectively use in lead gen, like signals, for example, as well as being able to prompt the AI with a lot of information, you have a really, really powerful combination to build an AI sales copilot. Now, with all that being said, let me kind of get into what it is that we're building here. This social signaling campaign leverages two tools. Very, very simple. It leverages Airtable and it leverages n8n, right? Now, Airtable, if you don't know what Airtable is pretty much a Google Sheets on steroids. It's a Google Sheets is almost a database where you can create a bunch of tables, and you can, like, create automations around the tables and the records. A record is just a row in the table, in a sheet, and you can just do so much very, very easily and effectively. It's a really, really good no-code platform. So Airtable is going to act as our, like, storing mechanism, right? And we're going to use n8n to trigger some automations, and then whenever we want to make changes or updates or store information, we're going to call Airtable to store that information. I hope that makes sense. So let me go back into n8n and kind of explain what's going on here. Again, as you can see, this isn't it. Yes, there's a few steps, but compared to these crazy flows you see on YouTube, it's nothing to that, because oftentimes those flows, they're not necessary. It's too many automating, you're letting AI do way too much. When realistically, maybe you want an AI workflow with predefined steps, but an AI agent might just does whatever the hell it wants. So what is even happening here? In this social tracking system, what we're doing is we are tracking thought leaders on LinkedIn that talk about something similar to what we sell, in which we can use their engagement that they're getting to pretty much take their leads and sell to them, because we know that person is somewhat interested in what we sell. So let me give you an example. Let's say, I don't know, Andrew Huberman is like a health enthusiast, right? Now, if you're a health coach, it might be valuable for you to look at all of his engagers to see if any of them fit your criteria. Maybe anyone engaging on Andrew Huberman's post that is a founder or a director. So A, they're showing interest in health content, but B, they kind of fit your seniority level. That's a good person to get in front of, because now you know that your message isn't falling on deaf ears, because that person is somewhat interested in the thing that you sell, because you're a health coach, right? So a similar approach here. So what I've done is in Airtable, I've got a table of thought leaders. These thought leaders are just 3 people. You might be familiar with them. This is very, very simple. Or people that talk about like leveraging AI in sales. So somewhat similar to what it is that I do. Now, on n8n, I'm creating a schedule. And every day, for example, we're getting those thought leaders and we're finding any new posts that they have made, right? Emphasis on new posts. We don't want to scrape any previous posts because we would have already scraped them. And it needs to be up to date. There's no point checking their posts from 6 months ago, because anyone that liked their post 6 months ago may not still now be in the market. So it's really, really important that we have this automation that is actively doing something every single day to pull fresh insights. Because if a CMO of a creative agency has interacted with 2 of these people's posts in the past 2 days, that is some real intent that they're somewhat interested in, how can we leverage AI sales into our thing, right? And of course, you want to trap that and then get in front of them in an effective way, which we'll get into in a moment if we have time in this video. So what you can see here is in Airtable, I have a table for thought leaders and I have a table for post scrapes. So what that means is I'm keeping a track of all the posts that we do scrape. So when I come back to n8n, we have a few steps here where we're filtering out any existing posts, right? So this is getting the existing post and then aggregating it to turn it into an array. So if you're familiar with n8n, n8n works with items and arrays. We want it as an array because then we can basically use a code node to basically filter out any of the people, as I'm doing here. Then we're fetching the engagers of all of those posts that we just pulled. Then for every engager, we're getting their profile, and then we're then passing it into an OpenAI module here. Notice we're not using an AI agent because we don't need to here. An AI agent is great if you're using tools like scrape their website or do something else. If you're just speaking with a large language model, oftentimes you do not need an agent. And in fact, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. So this is a pretty detailed prompt because this is how you get really good results. But pretty much what I'm doing is I'm telling the agent very, very detailed that, look, you're a sales assistant. I'm going to give you a bunch of information, about a company, about a profile and the company. What I want you to do, okay, here's some information that I may give you. I want you to have a conversation with yourself to try and figure out if that is the right person to sell to. So I'm telling it what I sell. I'm an AI consultant. I sell AI agents and automation services to service-based businesses. I tend to sell to people over a headcount of 10, and I like to sell to first world countries. So I want you to basically have a dialogue with yourself, like think about who is a potential customer. And then I'm doing something really, really cool here. And in fact, I'm going to make a separate video for this because it is quite complex. But I'm pretty much telling the AI to output in XML tags where I want you to output a think. So like, why did you come to that reasoning? And then a classification of like your actual output. The reason for this thinking stage is what we're doing here is we're practically turning GPT-4o mini into like 003, right, or 01. We're turning like a GPT model into like one of those thinking models because we're actively telling the AI to think through your process and then at the end of that, output your response. And this really, really increases the output of what you're able to get. So I'm doing that and then it's telling me if the person's a fit. If they are a fit, then I add them into Airtable. So again, it's not incredibly complex, but it is highly, highly effective, because then what you're left with is you're going to be left with a table of prospects that have shown intent in posts that relate to you. They fit your criteria, and also you can track how many times they're engaging. And every single time this runs, we're able to aggregate what's happening here. So it's really, really simple, but really effective. What I would then do is at the end, you can add in a step to add them to like an automation platform like HeyReach or SmartLead. But one thing that's really important to note here, and this is where most people go wrong. Where am I going? So where most people go wrong is that they'll use AI to send a pretty generic AI outreach. And you've just kind of undone all that hard work. You've used AI to do really, really good account and lead research. And now you want to use AI to send a message like, you know, like big fan of your content, for example. And now this just screams AI, or especially when you add that little dash. This dash just screams AI. But anyway, like there's no real need to go crazy with AI to produce the message, because all the AI was the heavy lifting when it came to doing the research. And now if you know that this person has shown intent on your post in your niche, there's no real need to get crazy or fancy here. You can send a very, very simple message like, hey, I've seen you're interested in leveraging AI agents into your ops. Me too, I'm a big fan of the person, you know, XYZ. I thought it'd be great to exchange notes, right? Just a very, very easy networky kind of message. Instead of you trying to get way too, like, I don't know, unnecessary with the AI output in the message. I personally always advocate for just using AI for the research. And then when it comes to the message, your list that you have built is the message. Because you've built a list of people that they fit your criteria, whatever it may be. They're service-based businesses in first world countries, and they're showing interest in your kind of niche. So already that's a personalized message in itself. There's no need to let AI ruin all the hard work you've done. I really hope that makes sense. And I'll share some more videos in the future where I kind of show exactly how that would look. So yeah, so here's the workflow. And in fact, I will run it. It will take some time, to be fair. Maybe I'll come back when it's done. But again, getting the thought leaders, we're fetching their posts. We are then fetching the engagement. We're then fetching the profile and the company for each engager on that post. We are then using all of that information to find out if the person is a good fit for what we're selling. We are then sort of, you know, aggregating it, and then we are updating the person back into our Airtable. And it's going to take some time, so maybe I'll just pause it for now because the video is coming on quite long. But again, guys, I will share the JSON in the description, or just ask me and I'll send it to you. And I'll also share the Airtable base as well. So yeah, this is how you can leverage social signals and using AI effectively to pretty much create a campaign that is always on, which allows you to get in front of the right people and as you can see, they're coming in now at the right time. So yeah, all the best, guys, and take care. Speak soon. Bye-bye.